So we are starting arenes as our next chapter. Arenes are hydrocarbons in A2 chemistry. They are the main hydrocarbons. And remember, hydrocarbon means something which contain hydrogen and carbon. Some important points that arenes are cyclic hydrocarbons and they are assumed to be benzene derivatives. And normally in AS, we used to say that everything is a derivative of alkane. Here, everything is a derivative of benzene. Conventionally, they were called aromatic compound. Aroma was a smell name. So they used to have a special smell. Now I'm putting the revision of sigma and pi bonds. This is our next heading. It is an extension of the concept of covalent bond. So you have to copy this screen. Division of sigma and pi bond. Now, revision of this topic. Remember that there are two types of covalent bonds in AS chemistry. Sigma and pi bond. The first bond, when two atoms join together, the first bond between two atoms is always the stronger bond and it is called sigma bond. Then you have to recall these are the three p orbitals. There are three options in p orbitals and these are the d orbitals. AS memory. Now p orbital is spherical and s orbital is spherical and p orbitals are shown like a dumbbell. Now remember that when two orbitals combine, when two orbitals overlap, and they make a molecular orbital, it is when full overlap or maximum overlap is there, it is called a sigma bond. Now, when you get a sideways overlap, you get a pi bond. So in our AS, we studied that we can have two types of covalent bonds. One is called sigma bond and one is called pi bond. This is in terms of the structure. This is in terms of the structure. These are called sigma and pi bond. Covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are of two types. One is called sigma and the second is called pi bond. You have to copy this screen. So there are two types of bonds. One is called sigma bond. There are two types of covalent bonds. One is called a sigma bond and the second is called a pi bond. Now, let's make our next concept. This is our next concept. The first covalent bond between two atoms is the sigma bond. It is formed by full or maximum overlap of atomic orbitals. It is formed by full or maximum overlap of atomic orbitals. So these are the two important concepts which were in our AS chemistry, and it has to be back. Right under it further. It is a strong bond. It contains localized paired electrons. So you have to copy this. The second, double. And the third, triple. Bonds between two atoms are pi bonds. So this is the concept of pi bond. It is actually coming after sigma bond. So first bond is sigma. First bond is sigma. Sigma start the bonding between two atoms. Once sigma bond is established, then pi bond can appear. It is formed by partial overlap of formed by the partial of the atomic orbitals. You have to copy this also. So this is where you have to recall AS chemistry SPDF. There are SPDF orbitals in chemistry, and you have to remember that these orbitals combine to form molecular orbitals. Pi bond is weaker it contains delocalized electrons. Copy this also. Now consider the atom nitrogen. These are the two atoms of nitrogen. These are the two atoms of nitrogen, and we are planning to see their bonding. Remember, nitrogen is able to form triple covalent bond, one of the strongest bonding it has. So look at the first bond. The first bond is sigma. Sigma means strong bond. first bond is sigma. The second bond is pi. It's a weak bond. And the third bond is also pi. So this is the idea of a triple covalent bond. So between two molecules, between two atoms, the first bond is always sigma. The second bond is pi bond, and the third is also pi bond. So this is called a nitrogen molecule. So you have to copy this. Okay, we just keep it up to here, and we will inshallah continue this in our next class. Allah Hafiz.